Echoes of the past we hear, carried on the wind so clear. Colors blend in harmony. Life's a vibrant tapestry. Every beat a story told. Ancient wisdom pure as gold. Let the rhythm take you high. Raise your hands up to the sky. Feel the energy ignite. Celebrate the day and night.
Hello, everybody. Great to see you all.
Raise your hands up to the sky.
Just gonna make it start in a couple of minutes.
Ignite. Celebrate the day and
Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about
rise of the sun in the morning light. Drums in the distance take flight. Heartbeats echo through the trees. Dancing shadows in the breeze. Feel the pulse of the ancient land. Footprints mark the golden sand. Voices harmonize the song. Nature calls and we belong. Let the rhythm take you high. Raise your hands up to the sky. Feel the energy ignite. Celebrate the day and night. Stars that twinkle in the night so bright.
just stop
Guide.
now. Just coming out and stop the music. Hopefully you've enjoyed a little bit of music. Okay, I think I've stopped the music. Now you could all hear me. Am I correct? Yes? Excellent, excellent. So welcome everybody. So I'm very much delighted to see you here. So welcome back for those of you who've attended our webinars before. So if you're actually new in the house, so welcome home. That's your place. And we're gonna have a very interesting conversation, right? Something different. Because I thought we started a new year, 2025, and then we all having our ups and downs. So there are many things happening in our lives. So our life is a complex, I would say, adventure, right? So it's not just about work, but you also have your professional, your private life, your family life, everything else that comes into play. But at the end of the day, you still need to deliver, right? So that is actually what is very key, yeah. And we all know that, and that's what I thought. Why not put together such a very interesting conversation that we want to have today? And I must admit, I want to thank as well so our colleagues here from AFF Wind Service. So they're very good partner of us now. And we thought we want to talk about this topic. How can mindset training build a resilient workforce in the renewable energy space, right? So that's what we're going to do. So if you don't know me yet, my name is Tony T. I'm the founder here of Renewables in Africa. So what we do is raising awareness about renewables energy and sustainability in Africa, but also across the globe. That's what we do. And I want to explore how the mindset training can address workforce challenges and really unlock potential here in the sector. Yeah. So we have incredible speaker joining us today. So Alfonso and also Joanna, but you get a chance to properly see them and talk to them in a minute. But before we dive into that, what we thought we want to do is to run a very quick poll survey, ask people that keep on joining. Yeah, just get a sense of what is your take on the questions. Yeah, so that's very important. So that will help us to guide the conversation because we know you're going to spend, no more than 75 minutes with us, but we want to make sure that you get what you want. But it's also, we've prepared something, but it's also good to understand where you're coming from. So what is the question that you have for us? So let me just launch the poll survey now, and then I will be very grateful if you can actually take part into that. So you let me know if you could see that. Hopefully you would see a screen popping up, and there's some key questions here, 2 questions only. Yeah, so it would be fantastic if all of you can participate, please. Yeah. So the first question is, what? This is not a trick question, by the way. It's genuinely because I want to hear from you. I could see somebody already jumping, participating. Great, that's what I want to do. So, what do you believe is the biggest challenge in building a resilient workforce, in renewable energy? So, is it lack of training? Is it the poor mental well-being and resilience? Is it difficulty to adapt in the industry challenges, especially nowadays, things going fast? AI, right? AI is disrupting so many things. A lot of people are scared, right? And other people are very excited. Yeah. So where are you fitting in? So is sufficient leadership? Is it because your leadership think that, hey, listen, we are actually a tough industry, that's for tough boy, tough women. We don't care about mindset, push down the side. Is it the case? Let us know. The second question is, which aspect of mindset training do you think has the most potential to transform workforce in workforce performance? Yeah, again, tell us, what do you think? So I already had 8 people, 9 people now participating. Great, keep on voting. So is that building mental resilience and adaptability? Is it enhancing teamwork, collaboration, improving stress management and well-being, or strengthening leadership and decision-making skills? So yeah, so let us know what you think, because that would really help our colleagues here, so Joanna, Alfonso, to figure out where what is that you're thinking. So that's good because I already have 15 people that have participated. That's great. So I'm probably gonna run it for another 60 seconds, and then we're just gonna take it there, because as I say, I like us to jump into the conversation and get more. So there's some more people that want to participate. So we had 16 out of 27. I'm leaving that for another 30 seconds. Yeah. In the meantime, while you're voting, don't forget as well to introduce yourself into the chat. Tell us who you are, where you're joining from, and what you want to take out of this session today, and what actually brings you here. Yeah. So I like to know who is in the room. I knew already that we were going to have, let's say, a reduced crowd, because this topic, believe it or not, a lot of people avoid this. Hey, that's not for me. I don't care about that. But people who are here, I'm glad you're here, and I'm sure you will like the fact that you actually spend 60, 75 minutes with us here. So I have 19 people out of 27. So another 10 seconds. So if not, I'm just going to end the poll and show you what result we collected so far. So let me wait a little bit here. So is there, one more person, who wants to chip in? Yeah, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, so let's just stop it at this stage and just end the poll. Yeah, so 20, yeah, 20. Just as I wanted to stop, somebody actually jump in and they say, okay, I'm just for the sake of time of the time that we're gonna spend in here. So I'm gonna stop you at this point. 20 people. That's not bad. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Let me just stop it, end it, and I'll share the result with you so that you could get an idea. So I'm sharing the result here. So what is that we see? Yeah. So what is the biggest challenge in building a resilient workforce? So I'm sure Alfonso will be very interested to hear that. So we have 33% people saying that lack of technical skills and training. So that's, I think it makes sense. I understand that. But we also have difficulty adapting to industry changes, 29%, very interesting. And just after that, insufficient leadership and guidance. Yeah. So if you look at that, basically the first and the second one, so they're relatively close. So technical skill, but also adapting to the industry changes. And like I say, there's a lot of changes going on at the moment. I give you an example, which is quite topical. Yeah. I'm not making a partisan politics here. I'm just saying, if you, for example, in the US, with the new administration, they're not particularly keen on offshore wind. Yeah. So if you're part of the offshore wind industry, you may be having some trouble there if you're in the US. That's just an example. So the second question, so what do we have? So which aspect of mindset training do you think has the most potential to transform the workforce? So what I see here, 42% clearly say that enhancing teamwork and collaboration. You will have something to say here, Alfonso, I'm pretty much sure. Yeah. And then what we have after that is building mental resilience and adaptability, 37%. So that means that people really see that as a strong point. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good. And we can pretty much almost link the first and the second, right? So the one at 42% and 37. That's great. And then you have strengthening leadership skills and improving stress management and well-being. 5% only? Really? Interesting. Anyway, I'm just gonna stop you at this point. This is what I wanted to share with you. So thank you for doing that. So that's it. So now we can carry on with the rest of our agenda. So what I'm gonna do is just give a chance, a couple of minutes to each of our speakers to introduce themselves. But I'm just gonna start by Joanna, and after I'm gonna go to Alfonso because after that Alfonso has a presentation for us that he wants to run. So maybe you want to go first, Joanna? A quick introduction about yourself. Let me just see if Joanna can unmute yourself. Yeah, I just want to make
Yes.
sure. Yeah, okay,
Can
good.
you listen to me now? Yes.
I can listen to you. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, please.
Okay. Thank you for having me here. Also with Afonso, it's a pleasure. It's also my first webinar, so I'm curious also to see this and to respond also to the questions. Well, I am a HEC professional. I am collaborating with Afonso in IFF Wind Services as operational manager also. And I have 3 years of experience in wind industry. And well, I look forward to work as a team and to collaborate in this industry that is growing very fast, and it will continue. That's our expectation to grow in the coming years. So
excellent.
Yeah,
thank you very much for that, Joanna. And it's your first, and we're very glad we have you here. And I'm sure it won't be your last.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. So let me move to Afonso. Afonso, over to you. You are actually a regular figure here. I'm sure everybody now knows you.
Tony, hi everyone. I don't know if everyone knows me, but you can definitely follow me on LinkedIn. You can definitely see me on LinkedIn. There's a lot of posts, there's a lot of activities lately, and last year we've done quite a lot of webinars and podcasts. So thank you once again to be part of this. Thank you to invite me on the webinars once again, and to keep on participating and keeping on contributing to improving this industry and improving the renewable sector as a whole. For those that don't know me, Afonso Faria, CEO of AFF Wind Services. We are a Portuguese-based company. We supply, our main core business is site management and expertise consultation to customers and developers. But we are also supplying operation and maintenance with expert service teams, where we also support the aftermatch. So we can build them, we can plan, we can build them, and we can also maintain the wind turbines and the assets for any customer. That is a little bit about myself. Personally, I'm also a devoted bike rider, as some of you have seen on LinkedIn as well. And my goal, especially this year and for the coming years, with the industry growing so much and with looking at the growth that is planned for and that will happen. My goal is that we will grow along with that, but in a supportive, constructive manner, that we can support the industry, that we can create better professionals, and that we can help ourselves become better. So that's the goal for AFF and for myself personally.
This is brilliant. That's a brilliant goal to have. So Alfonso, as I say to people before, so like I say, we've been working together now for more than a year now, and I think we're looking to strengthen the collaboration. And you and I have had this conversation a number of times because we realize that we all complex individuals. We all have very sophisticated lives, and when you work with somebody, it's important to understand how is that person as a whole, holistically, right? Not just look at the professional side, because what's happening in his life, personal life, has a very big impact on the way he performs. Yeah. And that's what we thought. It's very important to kickstart with this conversation, especially that early in the year, because things. I think people come refreshed, but if we can help you one another to have a great start of the year, why not? So I know you prepare some presentation that you want to go through. So that'd be good. So why Alfonso is doing that, like I say, when we're going to be talking today, I'm just going to remind our audience, this is a very interactive session. So feel free to share your questions. At the end, I'm going to give you some time as well just to ask your question, basically off camera, on camera, and speaking as well if you want to. And we really very much really want to take it because we also want to learn a lot from you here, right? Because there's a couple of things that we're working on. So Alfonso and I will share with you afterwards. But yeah, let's go for the presentation, Alfonso. Yeah.
All right, then if you allow me, then I'll start sharing my screen.
Yes, please, if you don't mind.
Please let me know if you can see it.
I can see it.
Right. So as part of, and it actually goes hand in hand with the questions and the answers, and that's also something that I've started to realize many years ago before I had my own company, and with my own company, with my own staff. So there is a need to improve the technical skills, and there is a need for everyone to be able to adapt. If we can't adapt, then we can't grow. That's simple. If I look back at the industry when I started back in 2006 to what we are doing now, if I wouldn't be able to adapt, then I would still be working on what is now called old technology. It doesn't mean that it's bad technology, because it was the building stone what we have now. So what I'm focused on, and what I've started to create now with a lot more emphasis this year, is to train my own staff, is to do and when I say train my own staff, is I don't go out there and get a training company to do courses and so on. We do that in-house. We help each other. We do together. We interact together, and we help each other growing. I believe that is the best way to grow. That is the best way to share experience, and that is also the best way for skills to be developed. If we together as a team, that we work together, if we can help each other. So this is part of a training session that I have held last Saturday. If you guys don't know, we do this on a regular basis. So just about every Saturday, we have an internal 1 hour, an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hour internal training sessions with our own team. In a couple of months, we're going to explore and go outside, where we can actually invite you to these sessions. You can actually participate, and I'm actually curious to see the value and the input that you can actually bring into it. It's going to be interesting. So last week we focused, or at least the focus was on self-growth and looking at what it is that we are doing, and time that we spend, and the time that we're actually working on for the customers, for our employees, but also for ourselves. So time, remember, time is your precious resource. You can't get back time. That's it. Once it's gone, it's gone. After this hour that we're spending here together, you can take from it whatever you can absorb, but that time is gone. So we've worked on that, and then realizing that time is precious, it's really important that as a manager, a supervisor, as a technician, that you understand that there is time to work, there is also time for your personal self, for your family, and there is also a time where you can develop your own skills, where you can look at yourself and say, what is it that I need to improve? And this is what I'm targeting. I'm targeting with my team, where I go into every single one and identify what is that they want to work on. And then on a Saturday, we come up with material and we help each other. So if we can look into that, and if we can realize that we need to block our days into slots, working ourselves, learning, then it's important that we keep balance on that we also understand. for everyone's understanding, I don't know if someone has calculated, but we've actually calculated, and we work on a regular one, on an average basis, we work about 12 hours a week, 6 days a week. That means that 75% of our time, awakened time, we're actually spending working. So 25% of the time of the week, that is for yourself. That's not a lot. So it's important to understand that. It's important to understand what it is that you need to develop, but it's also important that your team and your employee and your colleagues, they understand that as well, so that they can support you with that. So when we look into what areas do we do each want to grow in, and how can we support in pursuing those goals, it needs to be as a team effort. Remember, we're out there alone, not alone, of course we are as a team, but we are out there working or in a hotel. That's it. So we need to make our time count. So when you look into that, and especially as a manager, especially when you're working as a manager or a leading role or a supervisor role, there is a couple of things that is very important to understand when it comes to mind management, time management. And time management, once again, we identify that, at least talking with what we've seen in our experience, time management, if we don't manage our time, then it's gone. And if that time is gone, you have not developed yourself, you have not developed the project, you have not helped the project, and you're not helped yourself. So it's really important that when we are managing, supervising, leading, team leading, even working, normal working, if we have a task that we need to do, we need to know what has been planned for, what has been planned for that is urgently that needs to be done, that we need to take our focus into that area straight away. And also the tasks that come along when we start to do something and we find something else that is hidden, that we've not planned for. But then again, we need to be able to understand, is that something that needs all our attention right now, or can we plan it for something else? So altogether, it seems like a lot. It is a lot, but the most important is that we understand that time is the most precious tool that we have. And if we don't spend that correctly, we can't do, well, we can do it, but we can't do it correctly. We can't do it with a purpose that is meaningful. When we look into the industry and how the industry is evolving, if we don't start to spend this time better, if we don't start to enhance the skills and enhance the mindset of people better, so that this is understood and this is worked on. You can say worked on, because we really need to push ourselves. We need to push ourselves to block those agendas and to make ourselves time to dedicate on each specific task. That is the most important. If we can't do this, then we will not be able to improve the industry as the industry itself, as in general. You are muted, Tony.
Sorry. I think I didn't. Yeah. I didn't realize that. I think I was so focused what you said. Okay. So have you? Because it looks like you have one more slide you wanted to share. Did you manage to share that, the last one, which you thought was very?
This one.
Yes. Did you share that one already?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I didn't. For some reason, I couldn't see that on my screen. Excellent. So thank you very much for that, Alfonso. So as I say, so we have worked and talked about this topic a number of times, and I'm happy to see that you, as a leader of an organization, you bring that up front, for people to sort of giving permission to people to really talk about that and say that, hey, it is okay to talk about that. It is an important aspect of work, and we really need to understand it. I just have some few questions that I wanted to run by you, and then I'll be interested to hear what you have to say. And obviously, I'm just going to get Joanna as well to contribute. I would say, Alfonso, from your experience, so how would you say mindset training has influenced the performance or resilience of team in the renewable energy sector?
The biggest influence is in how we are improving towards health and safety, and how we are improving towards, I'm going to use the wrong term now, but the biggest influence is how we've improved to do the procedures correctly, to look into things and to actually stop, think, and then act. If I look back when I started, we would just simply jump into a turbine and get things done and start working. It doesn't matter that it doesn't mean that one is correct and the other one is not correct. Both are correct.
Mhm.
But if we look at how we are evolving and how we are growing, that mindset is changing, has changed, and is changing, and it still has a lot to change. And the more we look into that, and the more that we do our own bit, and that is the most important thing. That's that we do our part, right? We can't be out there as managers, CEOs, owners of company, HCC professionals, supervisors, expecting someone else to take that mindset and take that change and improve overall, be that enhancing the skills, be that improving the technical skills. We can't expect someone else to do that for us unless we do it ourselves. So that means that we need to change our mindset as well. We need to stop, think, plan, and work. So I think that is the biggest change. That is also the biggest influence that will help into it. As human beings, and sometimes we don't realize that, but as human beings, what we are outside, I think I mentioned that some last year as well, what we are outside work, we are also at work, and the other way around. So as a professional, where we spend most of our time, most of our lives working, if we are enhancing ourselves, we are improving ourselves, then we will improve our personal life as well.
Yeah, I think I very much will agree with that. So, what would you say? So, from bear in mind what you just said. So, what would you say are some of the techniques, strategies, specific strategies, and initiative that you have developed at AFF Wind Service to really address those skills and mindset gap? I know you talked about the fact that you're going through a training with your team internally at the moment, and but maybe you want to talk about some of those strategies, initiative that, and also how are they receiving it? Are they welcoming that? Do they feel like it's not needed? So it'd be curious to hear your opinion there.
Sorry, can you repeat the question because it broke
Sure.
down a little bit?
Yeah. So can you hear me well now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, sure. So I was saying, bear in mind what you just said. I was wondering whether you can talk about some specific strategies and initiative that you would have implemented at AFF to address those skills. And I know you're going to a training at the moment. You say every Saturday you meet internally. Is there maybe one or two initiatives that you could share what you're actually
Yeah.
teaching people?
In my personal life, I some personal things that I do. I've learned that you talk more in silence than you talk with talking. And so listen to the people, listen to what they have to say, try to understand and try to at least that's what I've done, try to position myself in their position. But most important, and that is where I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe that most of my competitors or other people in the industry, as companies, as even as people leaders, team leaders, most of the times where we fail is to make time. It's not to have time; it's to make time. So it's important that you make time for your technicians, for your people. It's important that you make time to listen to them, that you, even if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it's better to make those 15 minutes available to listen, speak, find out what is needed, and then develop that, than to tell someone, listen, I don't really have time for you now, call me back in a week. That doesn't work. You need to make time. You need to make yourself available. Now, that means that as a CEO, you don't have time for yourself. But guess what? That's the life that you chosen when you chosen to be to be, to be a company owner. You've chosen not to have time for yourself. But it's really about that. It's really about making time. It's about supporting each other. It's about not looking into the money all the time, not looking into the costs all the time. Sometimes you need to lose money, break even to get further, and you need to invest. And the best investment that you can do in people is invest your own time. Training skills. We can have the best. You can have the best technician, the best manager that you have with all the university degree management trainings that you can have. You can hire him. You can pay him whatever you want to pay. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't feel listened to, embraced, then he will not have that mindset that will help you and the company and himself to go further. That's it. So that is what I embrace. That is what I try to do. That is also what I'm trying to do this year. That is the reason why I want to reach out and get out there and expose myself to even more people with these Saturday regular training sessions. get skills, learn from each other, learn from others. I've learned with you, I've learned so much with other things that we've done on the side. I've learned so much that even last week we had a meeting with some other customer. I've learned so much from them that's it's unbelievable. Yeah, and it's all from listening.
Yeah, and how do you see these training evolving to meet the future challenge of renewable energy project? And I know one thing, for example, we're all talking about here. It's AI. The reason I want to talk about that, there isn't one industry that is not disrupted by that. So, and this has some very great opportunities, but also some potential threat, right? So that's a typical challenge that's currently happening in the industry as well. So how do you see mindset training maybe evolving to meet this challenge? For example, how do you prepare people to work it, basically to embrace it?
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned that, because last Saturday when we finished all the training session, we still had like 10 minutes left. And then I started talking actually about AI. And it's not, AI is not taking over. AI is just a tool. Use it as a tool. If you use it as a tool, then you are much quicker to come up with answers, but you need, of course, interiorize them, right? You can't just wait for something to be given. And that goes back into the mindset. You can't be waiting on a project for someone else to take a step and someone else to improve your working area. You need to be willing to put your own mind to it and to highlight what it is that you actually want to do and want to target, and then support everyone. AI is just a tool. Use it. It's out here. We can't deny it. Use it as a tool,
Yeah.
and you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed what you can do with it, and you'll be amazed what paths it can bring you into. Yeah.
No, I think I absolutely agree with you. So at the end of the day, it's here to stay. So it's about learning how to adapt with that and use it as a tool. Basically, looking at the opportunity side. So that's great. Thanks very much for that. So I'd like to obviously maybe welcome Joanna again. So Joanna, you can say, so that's your first webinar. So we wanted to give you the time to acclimatize yourself, familiarize yourself. So hopefully you've liked it. So I think, Alfonso, for now, let me just, if you can stop sharing the screen now so that we can properly see Joanna, if you don't mind. If you don't know. Yes, okay, excellent. So yeah, Joanna, I just want to come back to you. Just want to say, I know also you have very great experience. I wanted to know, how do you think mindset training contribute to maintaining health and safety and well-being in very high pressure renewable energy environment? Yeah. So, and I know some of they could. I don't know if people have not seen when you actually put it together a wind turbine. That could be quite stressful environment, right? So.
It is a very stressful environment, and I think it's important also to think that today we are in a very crucial moment in time, because just 20 days ago we had the information that in terms of climate change, the temperatures in the planet are above 1.55 Celsius degrees above industrial levels. So there is a big pressure on the industry, on the renewable industry also to develop. And there is a high demand of young technicians, and most of the technicians and people that are coming to the industry, they have no experience at all. So this is a big challenge in the environment itself, because you are working abroad on a different country, you don't speak the language, you have to adapt to winter, very harsh conditions in weather, also the daylight and the night. These are different periods, so we have to adapt also, because we will be working with night time and the night hours. So the challenges are very, very much indeed. And so, the mindset is a very critical thing when young people are joining this industry. Also, of course, the expectations need to be clear for these young people that are joining into the industry. And the mindset is crucial, as I've mentioned. And the thing is, in my personal experience, what I've seen as HSE professional on construction sites is that the first time these young people, young technicians join the industry, the first contact that they do have is in an induction on a site, on a construction site. And this is a very important moment also to give them the mindset and the rules and the good practices that they should follow in the industry. Because when they are on the field, they will be pushed in many different ways, and they will be in very high stress environment. There is no doubt about this. So it's very important on this first moment to not only to give them this set of rules, but also to have an open dialogue with them and to ask for their opinion even, and to challenge them to participate actively and think about why we are doing things the way we are. Because at the end of the day, safety is about coming back home after a day of work. You go back home and you will have your rest time. And at the end of a project, you will finish the project successfully without any incidents. So the mindset and the way, the set of beliefs that we have that will make us respond and react before certain situations is very important. And also the technicians, the more experienced ones, will give this, will pass their experience to the younger ones. So we need this to be very conscious that the young technicians need to have the right set of principles to start in the industry. It's the only way for us to have successful projects in the future. So this is really, really important. I also agree with it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So I was wondering if you can maybe give me as well a couple of real life example that where you have seen these mindset training positively impacting operational safety and team dynamics.
Yeah, well, I have experienced myself also, because we do have obstacles during our working day. We do have failures. And ultimately, the failures might represent a loss of a human life in this industry, and also severe injuries. And in these specific cases, which are already extreme cases, the way we can address these situations is we need to reframe it, and we need to look into this as a big opportunity to do different. We need to think, how can we do it better, safer, and eventually we can impact a whole industry and a whole procedure, and we can reframe things for the future projects and for the future technicians to work better and safer. But in my perspective, I do think that teamwork is also playing a very important role here, because they need to look into the more experienced ones, the younger ones, but they need also to find this support in the leading positions, in the management positions. And this plays also a crucial role.
I think, thank you very much for such a beautiful answer. That's fine. So what would you say instead of a rapid, by the way, I have one more question for you, but I can already see that some people are asking questions in the chat. That's fine. So in a minute or two, I'll come back to you and ask you to obviously voice this question. And what I would think I would like to have is people asking their questions publicly and on camera. So sort of helping us to, let's say, better engage. But if you can't as well, obviously we'll respect that and we will read the question. But I would encourage you to voice your question. So when I come to you in a minute, but start looking at my colleague Janet will start spotting those questions, and she'll let me know who asked the question, and I'll ask you to unmute and ask it to our speakers. Question for you, Joanna. So you were telling us how important the mindset training is and how it really has impacted not only you but also other people. What kind of advice then would you give to managers in general, people in leadership role? Yeah. So in order for them to integrate this mindset training into the safety or any program that they have, because I don't think it's done enough at this stage.
Yeah, I agree. We still have a long way to go. But I have seen it in my own experience. This kind of encouraging and encouraged to participate and to actively engage in conversations. I saw this being done in daily meetings by site managers, And when you start a dialogue with the technicians, with the teams, with the team leaders, and you encourage them to participate and not accepting to the teams to don't say anything, because at some point everyone has something to share and to say, because you are working on the field. There are a lot of things happening. And when you don't accept that the managers, that, okay, just share something. And this can be done even with a humorous side, because you just want people to participate. Let's discuss, let's have an open communication. And especially because managers and supervisors, they have a background of technicians. So they do know how difficult the work is. They do know the struggles and the difficulties that the people are dealing with. So they know that there are things that needs to be addressed. And they can even share, and I've seen this also, share their own experience that it happened to them, and they deal with this in some way. And they can share all of this, and this will encourage people and teams to participate, and they will engage. And when people are engaged as one team only, because we need to also to make sure that we don't have different teams on site. The quality is not a team, the production is not a team, the HAC is not a police officer. We need to make sure that we do have a team that works together and that have an open communication. And they will share when they are encouraged. And this is bringing results in terms of performance of the teams. You will have a successful project when you do have everyone engaged. And this is the mindset that we need to create. We need to make sure that we don't have competing teams on sites, but teams will cooperate in different ways. And at the end, we will have a competition among all teams. No longer competition or cooperation, but the competition. They will all realize that at the end of the day, if they cooperate, these competing teams, they will have a better result. And that's what we need. This is the kind of mindset.
That's such a beautiful answer. So thank you very much for that. I think I'm very, very glad you actually joined our webinar. You clearly, like I say, bringing a different level, like I said, of experience, which is very well needed. So thanks for that. So that's the time where obviously I want to turn to my audience. But before I go there, I just want to say to the audience, so as I say to you, so Afonso and I have been very much looking at this aspect, because we know that it's kind of part of the soft skills, but very much needed. It definitely it does impact directly your performances and your wallet, your money, right? If you have staff that can't perform, you're losing money. For certain, right? So, and if they can't really be focused on what they're doing, they're making some silly mistake. It could be costly. And like Joanna was saying, unfortunately, we could have some fatalities. So so important to look at this aspect that we sometimes neglect, right? And I know what I'm talking about, because having an engineering background, and I've been working in engineering setting for many times. I know those are kind of questions sometimes we don't want to bring into our world, because we think that no, we are tough guy. We don't talk about things, but it's so important, so crucial, right? So I want to come to question. So Alfonso and I have been talking about basically taking that as a specific course, and that we are experimenting right now. So if you are curious to find out more about this course that you are preparing, so we're still, like I said, putting that together. So I would encourage you to reach out to us. So book some one-to-one meetings with Afonso, so we can give you more information about that. And maybe you may have one or two things that you want to share, or maybe that you can add as well to the program. That would be great. So I think I'm just gonna ask my colleague Janet to drop the link in the comment section now. So where obviously we are inviting you to please book a one-to-one. Obviously we can't take too much. So I think probably 5 is enough. If there are more, we can accommodate that, but 5 is enough. So definitely, Janet, if time is kind, if you can hear me, so let's just drop the link there. So hopefully that's fine. Janet, you're around, right? So can you hear me? If I ask Janet, I can see you. Janet, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sharing the link.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So I'm just going to come to the question. If you stay unmuted, Janet, that's fine. So I know there's a couple of people asking questions. I've seen that flying around. So could you share with me the name of one person, or maybe if the person can just raise hands, so I'll unmute you and ask you to come on camera and ask your question. So that'll be brilliant, so that we can take that. So guys, like I say, we are obviously close family here, right? So there's not a lot of us, so don't be shy. So we don't bite, at least not yet. So be feel comfortable. So I could see, was it Esther who has the questions? Who raise your hands, and that would be great. I think Ricardo, do you have a question? It looks like Ricardo may have a question. So let me just unmute you, Ricardo. Yeah.
There are also questions on the text box.
Yeah. If you let me know who asked that, and I can get a person. So Ricardo, I've asked you to unmute. Hopefully you have seen that. It's Ricardo Letao. So I'm just gonna ask again to unmute. Ricardo, did you see that?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay. Good. We can hear you now.
But yes, hello to everyone. I don't have a question. I was not typing anything, but
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if you receive any.
Okay. Good. I thought you were
But
raising your hand, but that's
I'm
fine.
really listening from Portugal. I work offshore as a service supervisor for many years here in the coast of Belgium, between Belgium and the Netherlands. And it's a topic that I'm really interested in. I use LinkedIn a lot for many years also, so I came across the webinar. And I'm widely listening. Thank you for everyone's contribution.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ricardo. So apologies. I thought you raised your hand, but I'm very happy you took the chance to share a comment. So I'm also going to say that if you don't specifically have a question but want to make a comment, please, we invite you to do so. I know Ayola Bolaji had a question, so let me just ask Ayola to unmute, and then Jana will tell me who asked the question as well in the chat. So, so Ayola, can you hear? Can you hear us? Here you are. Okay, there you go, sir. Question? Can you hear us? I think you may have a network issue.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, can you ask your question? Yes,
Good
can you?
afternoon. Yes, I'm Ayola from Nigeria. Thank you, Mr. Tony, and well done. Yes,
Thank you.
I want to ask that this mindset issue that you are discussing about is actually a very good thing. Like somebody like me, I have a background in education, right from scratch up to. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, we can hear you. Carry on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I want to ask that how can I position myself, to be fully, grounded in this field of renewable, looking at the fact that I do not, my background is not in engineering, and I'm really, passionate about the renewable energy industry. So, the skill gap between education and the renewable energy, how can I position myself to be able to have a firm grasp of the renewable energy industry? Thank you.
Okay, so I'll let Joanna and Alfonso respond to that. But what I'm also going to invite you to do, that's typically a question you can also ask on one-to-one with Alfonso. So the link that Janet put on the chat there. So you can also book a one-to-one for an extended response. But maybe Joanna, Alfonso, you want to chip in to maybe share a couple of nuggets for Ayola, please?
Okay. All right,
Yeah, I would just, can you please recap the question, because the sound was a little bit breaking up.
Okay. So you can hear me, right, Alfonso? So
I can hear you, right? Yeah.
If you can go on mute now, I think so that there's no background noise, but I heard your question. Yeah. If not, Janet, if you can unmute Ayola, that'd be good. Okay. So the question, Alfonso, was to basically Ayola has let me just mute him. Yeah. Ayola has a educational background, right? But not necessarily be part of renewables energy. But he clearly can see gaps that exist in that space, probably as well, because he compared them with other power sectors. And he wants to know how can somebody like him with an with an educational background, I guess that's where his skill set is. How can he get involved, bringing that into renewables energy, and maybe supporting people that have programs like yourself? That's what he wants in general to know. That's why I wanted to chip in and join as well with anything.
Yeah. Well, from my, if I can quickly answer that, it's that's what we're trying to work on, right? That's what I'm trying to work, at least with my company, is that unfortunately, as company holders in the industry, we tend to choose, or we tend to filter and screen people that have all the skills and all the experience, and preferably also the lowest rates. That is the normal standard. Let's not lie about that. So that's what I'm trying to target here. That's what I'm trying to target as a company, as an industry itself, is that we as companies and as clients also that contract us as companies, that we look into the industry, into taking professionals, high-skilled professionals, not necessarily with all the experience already, with the years experience in this industry already, but with the correct mind, with the correct training, with the correct skills that can then be put into this industry and learn then the specific industry skills. It's a very complicated process. I do have to admit, it's a very hard process because it's just simply the way the competitiveness of the industry is just so big that as a company holder, we cannot simply have, we can have high-skilled people, but we need to have high-skilled technicians, people with also the experience in certain areas. So we need to try to make that mixture there. We need to try to make that mixture. And that is where it goes into, if you are actively looking to get into the industry with a specific company, I would say try to position yourself where you go into a company and you position yourself as in the high-skilled technician that you are, to go into a team and train and get into that process of, where you need to develop yourself into the new industry. New for you, it's not new as a technical industry, but new industry as the renewables. The mindset and all the training and everything that goes around it is what I'm trying to target here, what I'm trying to improve in this industry. There's a gap in this industry, and it needs to improve.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Alfonso. I think there's a couple of other questions that Teslim and also I think Joseph seen. So what I would say to the audience, so in case you have purely technical questions, that's absolutely fine. Book a one-to-one meeting with Alfonso. I'm sure he'll respond to that. But for the sake of this webinar and the conversation, the topic that we have, it would be good as well if we could have questions that's actually turning around the what we had in here. So I don't know if Teslim is still connected. Yeah, I see here. Let me just ask you to unmute Teslim.
Hello, good afternoon.
Can you hear us?
Yes, please.
Excellent. So maybe you go ahead with your question. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, I have my name is Teslim. I'm from ASCON Badagry. That's the Administrative Staff College of Nigeria. ASCON Badagry, Lagos State, Nigeria. So I have about one or two questions. The first one is, I'm talking about the workers now. How can we bring about a positive change to the mindsets of workers to work, especially in the time of these global economic challenges? Here we have people having their own personal challenges, economic challenges, family challenges. So how can we bring about a change in their mindset?
Okay.
Are you with me, please?
Yeah, and what and the second question, so that we can respond to that in one go.
Okay, the second question goes thus. My first and second degree is in economics. It's somehow related to the last question. But now I want to ask that, economics, we have a few integration in the sciences, social sciences. So how can I position myself in this renewable energy industry?
Yeah. So okay. So the second question. So if that's okay with you, so I think Alfonso almost already targeted that.
Yes.
And then and I think we can help you with that outside of this webinar. That's absolutely fine. But the question regarding how do we bring about positive change? So maybe Joanna, you take a look at it, and maybe Alfonso Alfonso can chip in. And I know Joseph also had a question after that. If there's any question after Joseph, that's fine. Let me know as well. I know as well, Janet said there was some question as well in the chat. Yes. Go as maybe Joanna, you want to chip in? So how can we bring about positive change to people's mindset? Yeah.
How can we bring positive change? That's what you mean.
Yeah. So basically, he wants to say that if I understood that correctly, it's how can we obviously encourage people to embrace change, to make it a positive thing in their mindset, because they at times reluctantly on the defensive side, and then and yeah, so he wants to get maybe some idea there, because he thinks this topic of mindset, it's very, very important, very, very relevant for what he sees.
I do think that the team leaders and the people that are above, and to those that young technicians are looking into, they do have a crucial role here. So they need to lead by example also, and they need to show how things should be done, and they are also contributing in a big way to create this positive mindset. So of course these are critical positions that need to have this role for the younger ones, but I think this is something that is coming from the top until the down and the ground technicians. So that's the way I think things could work and should work, to be in a global approach.
Okay, excellent. So do you have anything to add to that, Alfonso? Or I'm going to go to, I could see a question from Joseph, and I've seen as well somebody from Simone in the chat. So we're going to come to that. Anything you want to add there, Alfonso?
I will add on to that once we get onto the question from Simone, because
okay.
I think we can go into it. We can go into it together.
So Simone, no pressure to you. Yeah, I also want to welcome here. You look at the chat, so welcome my friend to Eduardo Garcia, so who said that he can only speak in Spanish. No habla español. Yeah.
I've actually replied to him in Spanish, because I do understand and I can write and speak Spanish. So.
But this is not true. I just speak it just a little bit, but I can't have a conversation. But Alfonso, like I say, fully fluent. I've seen that he's tackled that. That's fine. So I'm just gonna go to Joseph Don Simone. So Joseph now. So let me just unmute you, Joseph Canu. So I'm just gonna unmute you. And like I said, please, if you don't mind, let's keep the question on the topic. Yeah. So other questions, Alfonso is available for one-to-one. Joseph.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Joseph Kanu. I'm from Sierra Leone. I'm the HR manager for Energy Corps. I have two questions. One, you know, building mindset and resilience represent a form of organizational change. And sometimes we do face resistance to change, and that is common. So based on your experience, what are the most effective strategies for overcoming these resistance within the renewable energy sector? That's my first question. Then the second question, we all know senior leadership definitely has a very key role to play when it comes to building resilient, as well as conducting training for mindset and behaviors within organizations. So what are the key roles, or what are the key things that senior leadership need to take into consideration when it comes to maintaining mindset that has already been built, as well as resilient within the energy sector?
Okay, excellent. So the first question we're talking about resistance to change. So how to deal with that. I think Joanna had a quick word about that, but we can maybe expand a little bit more. How do we deal with resistance to change? Because that's something that's happening on a regular basis. Or the second question is, from leadership perspective, what are the key aspects or the key tips that you could provide in order to maintain a mindset that has been built and that's been built within the company, so that people can adhere to that and also get it to evolve. So hopefully it was clear, those two questions. So who want to jump on that? So Alfonso, Joanna, any?
I can quickly jump on that. It comes down to, and if we look at big companies, small companies, big families, small families, sometimes we tackle the problems wrong in companies, and sometimes we start to change the heads at the board members and at the management members and at the senior management members, but we forget that what is really wrong is that the link is not made. We forget that we are dealing, and we fail to deal with people. We fail to deal with persons, and we fail to listen to people. What I mean with that is that we can be, you can have senior managers, you can have medium, mid senior managers, whatever you want to have in the middle there. They are not the ones bringing in the money. They are not the ones bringing in the product, and they are not the face of the company. The face of the company is the people that are actually doing the work. And if we fail to listen to them, if we fail to put ourselves in their shoes and to actually give them good and adequate space to work and adequate space to listen, bear in mind that, of course, we need to have rules, regulations, and everything, right? It cannot be, freedom is a very good thing, but we need to deal with freedom. But if we fail to listen to people, if we fail to understand their problems, their issues, then as a senior manager, we fail to be a senior manager. So, and I think that's where it starts. And it may be as big as the company is. The people that are leading need to understand they are dependent on the people that they are leading and not the other way around. So we need to listen. We need to put in place supporting systems, and supporting systems can be as simple as I've said in the beginning. Make time to listen. Make time to have a one-on-one with people on a regular basis. When you have a one-on-one with people, don't focus on key KPIs, on how they're performing. Is their performance up to what I want? No, don't focus on that. Of course, you need to focus on that, but do 60-40 split where you focus on their personal lives. And then we go a little bit into Simone van Heerden question. Then we go into their personal lives. We don't need to deal with all their personal problems, but if we listen to their personal problems, if we can understand a little bit, and if we can expose ourselves, don't be afraid as a manager. Don't be afraid to expose yourself as a person. Don't be afraid to expose yourself as all the personal dramas and the personal problems that you have. Because at that moment, when you are doing that, the person you are talking to and with, that person will understand that, wait, that's not a manager, that's actually a real person, and he listens to me. And that is when you start to tie up things. That is when you start to tie up and create that bonding. A lot of companies have the strategy of having team building days once a year. Every day should be a team building day, and every week you should have a team building strategy to help each other. Otherwise, it's just an excuse to go out there one day in the year and get drunk and get party, and that's it. But you do that anyway.
No problem. I think I definitely, I'm also conscious of time, so I definitely want to hear what the question Simone had, just so everybody interest. I know as well I have Dico Gada who raised his hand. So, guys, I think I'm probably gonna take one more question after Simone, and I think we're probably gonna wrap it up because conscious of time. So, Simone, I think I've asked you to unmute. So, if you can unmute now and maybe quickly introduce yourself and ask a question. Good.
Hi, good day, everybody. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. And again, it's my second webinar, and I'm really enjoying it. So thanks for taking the initiative on that. So my question was, is obviously, how do you handle the individual that has a lot of personal issues? And at a point it starts affecting their work. This is in terms of like a sales team, or a technician team or engineering, as a company in a whole, how do you handle that without being insensitive? Because I mean, we're all human. Everyone has issues, and me being a mother of 2 kids working full day, everyone has their personal life, but it's sometimes difficult if it's a persistent, continuous thing happening. How would you guys handle that? And Alfonso, I agree with you on the team building.
Yeah, excellent. Let me just give the chance to maybe Joanna to have a start for this one, and then Alfonso, you can reinforce it if needed, and then we're gonna go to Dick. So, Joanna.
Well, I do agree with Afonso on what he said previously, but I want to add that we need to listen, yes, but sometimes we also need to have safe spaces and to create these safe spaces to have this open communication. And in terms of safety, I've seen also this being done well and worked. That sometimes you need to create like a safety meeting, committee meeting, where you can invite workers to come, workers from all levels, to come and share their perspective over things without any judgment. We are just putting the questions on the table and we are sharing perspectives and find common solutions for the problems. This is a way to create safe spaces in terms of safety. But of course, we need to have these safe spaces. So they are important, and it's important that we look into our colleagues as a whole, because we all have personal issues. Me personally, I had a son studying in India for some years, and I was working also on construction sites, and this was a big challenge for me. Also a mother, but with a son very, very far from me, and working in this very challenging environment. And what I found was support also from colleagues, and I was the only woman on site. And this is possible. It's not impossible. But of course, we need to have these safe spaces. This is also very important. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. That's very, very crucial aspect. Yeah, because like I say, you bring in the parental aspect in here, so all comes into play. So obviously, when you have children, so like I say, when you know that when you're thinking about them, maybe something happened to them, it's impossible for you to focus, right? So this is something that comes into play, like I said, and that's so many different aspects that comes into work that we don't realize, but it's so important to talk about. That's why I love what you said, John. I said that creating that safe space for people to come and feel like, hey, I can share that with you. I feel safe. You're not going to use that against me, turn it against me, and help me to actually deal with that so that we can all perform and deliver what is that we need to deliver. So yeah, very, very important. Alfonso, do you have anything to add? Otherwise, I'm just going to move to Dick.
No, just quickly adding on the commercial perspective from a company side, because that is I think where then we go into that, without sounding impersonal. We need to support. Of course, we need to grant that everyone feels safe. And I've dealt with that 2 years ago with the situation also. But what we do, what companies need to do is we need to, at that moment, when there is a specific need, personal need for a specific person, doesn't matter who it is, we need, as a company, we need to forget about money. We need to put people first. We need to understand that there is no money that buys the well-being of those that work for us. It might be someone that in the long run goes into a situation where they can no longer perform due to personal reasons and they need to be moved. It's the wrong term, but moved out of the team. But at that moment, we need to focus on the person, not only for the person itself, but also for the full team that we have around us. Because as leaders and as company owners, the moment that we start to show the team as a whole that if someone is not performing, despite if it's a personal matter or another matter, if he's not performing, the first thing that we do is we move him away, then we are breaking that team. That's it. That team no longer exists. So the first thing is people above money all the times. Then, of course, we need to tackle if it's a long-term issue, if it's something that the person needs to be away for half a year, 1 year, 2 years, we maintain him in the loop a little bit so that he can always come back if he wishes to do so. So we give him the freedom to. But above all, we need to understand that we are dealing with people. We need to understand how we wanted to be treated. So if we were in that position, we wanted to be felt like we are protected, and whatever money we need to spend. We in our industry, we're always traveling. So quite often it comes along with needing to find travel arrangements for that person, family, whatever. My approach is always, whatever you need, let me know. Hotels, cars, flights, let me know. We'll deal with the consequences afterwards. And that needs to be, that is my main message to any CEO, any leading senior manager that is listening to. That should be the main focus, people before anything else.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Alfonso. So I can see Dick has actually lowered his hand, but let me just still go to him if you still want to ask a question. Dick, do you have a question?
Oh yeah, it's not really a question, but probably a comment or two that will take just a couple of minutes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of interferences. Do you have a radio, something like that close to you? I think it's
I'm using my headphones, so I don't know whether that's the problem.
It's probably the headphone. Yeah. Is it possible maybe to disconnect to ask a question just for the questions?
Let me put it on speaker. Is it better?
Much better. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Headphones sometimes have an issue. So, for me, it's more of comments regarding the experience that I've had in the industry and what my colleagues have talked about as challenges. One of my colleagues has talked about transitioning into the industry.
Yeah.
I look at it from a management perspective that the responsibility of transitioning starts with me. There's a lot of resources that are both online and offline that we can use to help myself transition into the industry. As regards now the relevance of our current topic, which is mindset training and mental health, because they are both very related things. Somebody from HR asked about how they are challenged bringing in this change into the organization. For me, I look at it this way. If I want to bring in change, I must be the change that I want to bring in.
Correct.
So probably, get the resources that will help you. There are books on mental health and mindset trainings. There are online and offline resources. Form committees. Get help from your colleagues and peers who can help you in terms of cascading this into the team. And I did this with a company that I was working for up until recently called Divabits Green Energy. I was managing a total sales force of 500 people across Kenya. We were having issues with sexual harassment and all those things because we have a lot of women in our workforce. So we had to form a committee that was handling this kind of mental health and mindset training. We had to change even operational issues. And finally, someone talked about how there's so much. In fact, one of the points you raised was that this industry is so dynamic. Things change overnight. Things flip because this is not a mature industry. Unlike FMCG or telecoms, which have, they are set in their ways. Things will go along a railroad. This industry, things flip overnight. Like, for example, the company I was working for, when you were sending me the invite, we were working. Then by the time the meeting came through, we didn't have jobs because there was funding. There were some funding tranches that we were expecting in 2024 that did not come through. So we were forced to downsize. So you have to also build that mental, resilience as a leader that things can change. And then they can flip, the switch can flip overnight. Even if you're, wherever you are in the company, be it a technician, because me, I'm on the commercial side, I'm a sales leader. So the flip can, the switch, prepare yourself that the switch can flip either today or tomorrow. Prepare yourself that you're going to lead a team in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Prepare yourself to be the change that you want. And finally, just to let everyone know, I am searching for a sales leadership role. So check out my profile on LinkedIn. Thanks to me.
So that was the best.
Can I just say something, Tony? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I like that. I was listening, and every day we learn something, and we need to learn from each other. You are the change. You are the change that you make yourself. You are that change. So if you want to make that change, then you are that change. That is a very good comment.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Don't expect anything apart from what changes you yourself make. That is amazing. Thank you.
That's great. And like I say, I like the way as well. So it's ended up right. So you definitely, if you bring things this way, you always show that you're going to end up with a job interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think on this topic, I'm sure we can spend days, nights talking about. So we thought it was very important. I know it's slightly different from very technical topic that we bring and discuss here on a regular basis, but we thought that's very important. And like I say, Alfonso and I, we are working on this initiative, And we'll be very happy to hear from you. So don't hesitate to book one-to-ones if you have some additional questions, if you want to find a little more, if you want to find out whether you could be of a support. So let us know. I know already a couple of people have done it, booked it. The link is in the comments, so do not hesitate. Obviously, Alfonso, it's a service company in the wind industry. If you have much more technical question, feel free to reach out as well to him. And through one-to-one, I'll be more than happy to do that. So I just want to end up. Oh, by the way, I think I forgot something very, very important. So it's I'm hoping you won't mind me, but we need to run very quickly the survey in the end, right? Because that thing I need to do that. Yeah. So let me just run the exit survey. Let me just launch it now. So if you could just take it, there's a couple of minutes to do that, and after that, see you off. So it's very simple, straightforward questions. It's asking you, so what is your assessment of the today's content? So did you like it, not like it? Please be honest, transparent, so that's what you want. So we don't want to be sugar-coated, because if it's not good, we need to work on improving that. What is your assessment of the format that we had today? So was it good, not good? So we've worked to create sort of a formal, informal space where people feel comfortable to share. And from the responses, the contribution I've heard, it looks like we may have achieved that. So let us know. So I've now 9 people have already sent the comment. That's great. So yeah, and obviously overall, so what's your assessment? I know Simone said that's the second time. I'm hoping that we're going to see you for a third time, fourth time, so on and so forth, right? So thank you for making the time. I didn't ask you where you were joining from, but I suspect maybe South Africa, Simone. So yeah, so I said, yeah, I'm still gonna go for another 30 seconds, then I can close the poll, right? Because I want to allow you to keep on carrying on with your day. So are there any more? So 13, 14 people. Yeah, thank you for that. It's great. Yeah, that's so far what I can see. Yeah, I can see one person has said average. No problem. That's what we want to be. The person has said average. Let us know why do you think it was average. So that's that will be helpful for me as well. So if you reach out to me, let me know. But apart from that, most of the people seem to have liked it. So I'm just going to stop the poll at this stage and share as well what we have more than 50% of people responded to the exit survey poll. That's good enough. I'm just going to stop it right now. And I will share the results, which I'm sharing right now. So essentially, I would say a very substantial majority of you, yeah. So 93% of you thought it was either good or very good. That's the content. That's great. And then about the same. In fact, the same thought that the format they liked it. 93%. That's great. So there's one person that's not happy with that. So that's okay. And again about the same. So 93% think that it was a very good or good overall assessment. Excellent. So it looks like Joanna, Alfonso, you've done a terrific job. So we may have signed up people for a few more webinars. Excellent. So let me just close it. So I just want to go into. So let me just say before any closing remark, Joanna, Alfonso. So you want to say quickly?
I want to thank everyone again for participating, for the questions, and looking forward to see you all in the next one.
Excellent. So Joanna, anything?
Well, thank you also. It was a nice experience, and I hope to continue and see more people with more questions, yeah, on the coming webinars.
Excellent, excellent. So just gonna see us off now and say that I want to thank you again for today, and a special thank you to our speakers, so Alfonso Faria, Joanna Ribeiro, for the invaluable insight. Yeah, so we've learned really here today how mindset can enhance resilience, teamwork, performance, renewables energy, and we want to use that to drive more and more change and innovation. And just as we're talking about how mindsets, is so important and so linked to performances, I have a personal story because I have a very good friend of mine. So we grew up together because I grew up in Cameroon. People that don't know, very close friend of mine. I consider him almost as a brother. And then he's into the engineering industry, and he's going through a very, very tough time at the moment. It's a single child, so unfortunately he lost both his parents by now, and he's just going to a personal situation whereby he's separating from obviously his partner, and they have 2 children. And the situation, let's say, is very messy, right? So we're doing our best to see how we can support him. But he's very, very gifted, very, very good at what he's doing. In fact, he used to be basically the top student, when we were in the same class. But at the moment, he's just going from job to job, not because he can't perform, but just because mentally he's struggling significantly. And now it's got to the point whereby people don't want to employ him because they don't know whether he's going to be able to cope with the pressure, right? So, and until he's sorted that out, fortunately, he can't go back to the workspace, and it makes it difficult because guess what? It has an impact as well to his financial situation. So this is why I'm saying that question like that so important, and we need to deal with that. So that was the whole point of today. Kickstart the conversation, but obviously, I'm sure you agree with me. We need to continue that. So I'm hoping to see many of you on the one-to-ones, and then I want to finish and say thank you very much for today. It was a great conversation. So we're gonna finish off in music, and then as usual, yeah. So we see you very, very shortly, sometime soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Just play a little bit of music as well.
Harmony, life's rise of the sun in the morning light. Drums in the distance take flight. Heartbeats echo through the trees. Dancing shadows in